Hello, everybody. It's Medium Jenny Lee. If you can hear my wash machine in the background, I apologize. Gotta multitask around here, people. All right, we're here with the next discussion for the Raw Contact Volume 1, Teachings of the Law of One. This is going to be session number 9 in the book. And if you felt like the last discussion was a little bit scary, disturbing, upsetting, or if you were freaking out like poor Don was asking his questions, this one is going to be so much more fun, I promise. And it has a topic in it that is very near and dear to my heart for some reason yet. I have not yet to know, but this is going to be a lot more fun than the last craziness. So let's get going. All right. Okay. So Don, I think that they do these every day. So let's see. So yeah, on January 26th was when they had their really crazy session and Don lost his mind. So the next day, he's had a chance to sleep on it, and he says, I apologize for getting sidetracked. We're going to focus more on trying to learn the Law of One now. I lost my mind, basically, when we were talking about the U.S. having spacecrafts. All right. Don asks, is it possible for you to tell us anything in your past incarnations, our past experiences before this incarnation, in our past incarnations, not Ra's, ours. It is possible, however, such information as this is carefully guarded by your mind, body, spirit being totality, so that your present space-time experiences will be undiluted. So basically, you can't know too much or it'll really mess up what you're doing right now. Let us scan for harmless material for your beingness. Takes 20 seconds. I am in the distortion of desire for your freedom from preconception, able to speak only generally. So we can't go into detail, but I can give you some general information. So Don is asking about, actually Don isn't asking about all of us. He's speaking about them. Don, Carla, Jim, maybe Leonard, and maybe whoever the other guy was that they said, was it Tom? So he's asking specifically about them. And then this is what Ross says. There have been several times when this group worked and dwelt together. The relationships varied. There is a balanced karma, as you call it, and each thus the teacher of each. The work has involved healing, understanding the uses of the earth energy, and work in aid of civilizations which called, just as your spear has done, and we have come. This ends the material we consider harmless. So basically, Don, Carla, Jim, maybe the other two guys, have worked together before in different combinations of relationships. They've all been teaching each other, learning from each other, healing, learning about the earth, and helping others. So that's excellent. Good job, guys. Good job. Next. Wants to know about the healing exercises. What exercises should we concentrate on? To direct your judgment is an intrusion upon your space-time continuum distortion called future. So Ross says we can't tell you what to do because it might change your judgment towards your own future. They can speak about the past and the present within acceptable limits, but they can't tell stuff about the future. To guide rather than teach or learn is not acceptable and is to our distortion in regards to teaching and learning. So they can teach, learn, but they can't guide. That's interesting. This is the proper choice. Building from the foundation, making sure the ground is good for building. Be patient, for we have not given a short or easy program of consciousness learn teaching. So start slow, build upon itself, make sure that you've got a good foundation before you do anything real crazy, because the task that Ra has given them to learn the Law of One isn't easy. And that spoke to me directly about my own spiritual work. Because, you know, as humans, we have a very short attention span. We have a very distorted view about time, and we think that everything should happen right now, and that we're not a very patient bunch of creatures. So being reminded that I need to make sure my foundation is strong and good for building before it takes off, that was a good reminder for me. Okay, so Ra wants to know, or no, not Ra, Dawn. Ra doesn't want to know anything. Ra knows everything. No, I don't think Ra does know everything. I think Ra knows what Ra can know based on its own space-time continuum distortions. Dawn is asking about these cycles. So remember, previously, Ra has said that every 25,000 years, there's a cycle. And then after 3 of those cycles, 3, magic number 3, after about 75,000 years, it seems like everything kind of gets wiped clean and has to be counted and assessed, and then decide what to do next. So Dawn wants to know some more about that stuff. Okay. So Ra wants Dawn to imagine, and us too, the Earth forming, the solar system forming, our little bit of stuff in our little realm of the universe, and how it formed. Continue seeing the rhythm of this process. The living flow creates a rhythm. Each of your planetary entities began the first cycle when the energy nexus was able, in that environment, to support such mind-body experiences. Thus, each of your planetary entities is on a different cyclical cycle. Oh, the trash truck is coming now. Oh, there's all kinds of noises today. The timing of these cycles is a measurement equal to a portion of intelligent energy. Okay. So, the creation of things has a rhythm. And that rhythm creates these cycles. And the very first cycle starts when the environment of a planet is able to support mind and body experiences. So not just a physical body, but the ability to have a mind. But I wonder if that includes being self-aware. Like, what exactly is the understanding of the word mind here? Like, because a lot of critters have brains, but not all critters are self-aware. Is that the distinction between, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? It's a good question. I wonder if we'll ever get that answer in these books. Huh. Now I'm thinking about all kinds of stuff. All right. So once there's a mind-body experience in the environment, that's when the cycle starts. So every planet's on a different cycle. And the timing of the cycles is equal to the measurement of a portion of intelligent energy. This intelligent energy offers a type of clock. The cycles move as precisely as a clock strikes your hour. Thus, the gateway from intelligent energy to intelligent infinity opens regardless of circumstance on the striking of the hour. It's a little confusing. Intelligent energy works like a clock. So the intelligent energy opens a gateway to intelligent infinity on the hour of the clock. But is that the 25,000 years or is that the 75,000 years? 75, I guess, right? I'm not sure. Okay. The first entities on this planet, what was their origin? The first entities on your planet were water, fire, air, and earth. Oh, I love that. The first entities were the elements. I'm sure that answer was not what Dawn was expecting. The first people, where did they come from? See, he had to reword his question, because that's what he really meant. I think. You speak of third density experience. The first of those to come were brought here from another planet in your solar system, called the red planet, Mars. This planet's environment became inhospitable to third density beings. The first entities, therefore, were of this race, as you may call it, manipulated somewhat by those who were guardians at the time. I think a lot of people, scientists and stuff included, I think deep down we know that there's something with Mars, right? I mean, we've had an obsession with Mars for a long, long time. So that obsession doesn't just come from nowhere. So I think that is validation that this is true. And now that we've sent these rovers to Mars and we have all of these satellite images of Mars, and there's a lot of people who pour hours and hours and hours of their time and eyesight and over these images of Mars looking for things out of place. And they find them. They find structures and faces and things that look like stuff that shouldn't be there. And, you know, the logical scientific community will just blow it off like it's the blah, you know. But no, I think there's definitely something to that. You know, why else would we spend so much time like being obsessed with this planet? So that's pretty cool stuff. Okay. But the Guardians helped manipulate them a little bit so that they could live on Earth. Good to know. What race is that? And how did they get from Mars? The race is a combination of the mind-body-spirit complexes of those of your so-called red planet and a careful series of genetic adjustments made by the Guardians. These entities arrived and were preserved for the experience upon your sphere by a type of birthing which is non-reproductive but consists of preparing genetic material for the incarnation of the mind-body-spirit complexes of those entities from the red planet. So basically the Guardians adjusted their DNA so that they would be able to incarnate on Earth, and they were, sounds like they started out as test tube babies. They were not created through reproduction. Very weird. Then I'm assuming what you're saying is the Guardians transferred the race here after the race had died on the physical, from the physical as we know it on Mars. Is that correct? That's correct. So basically all the Martians died off. In order for their souls to have a place to go, the Guardians made new bodies for them on Earth. Weird stuff. Okay. Now I wrote some notes here, and I'm not sure what they're about. Guardians meant to bring wisdom and melded, but other Guardians messed with Red Planet's free will. Okay, that's my chicken scratch note there. Let's see what the heck that's about. The Guardians obviously were acting with the understanding of the Law of One. Doing this, can you explain the application of the Law of One process? The Law of One was named by these Guardians as the bringing of wisdom of the Guardians in contact with the entities from the red planet, thus melding the social memory complex of the Guardian race and the red planet race. It, however, took an increasing amount of distortion in the application of the Law of One from the viewpoint of other Guardians, and it is from this beginning action that the quarantine of this planet was instituted, for it was felt that the free will of those of the red planet had been abridged. So it sounds like some of the Guardians who did all of this thought that they were doing what was best, and other Guardians thought that it messed with the free will of the entities from the red planet. Okay. Were the entities of the red planet following the Law of One prior to leaving the red planet? They were attempting to learn the laws of love, which is one of the primal distortions of the Law of One. However, the tendencies of these people toward bellicose actions, I had to look up what that meant. A willingness to fight is what bellicose means. So they were a rough, rowdy bunch, caused such difficulties in the atmospheric environment of their planet that it became inhospitable for third density experience before the end of the cycle. Thus, the red planet entities were unharvested and continued in your illusion to attempt to learn the law of love. So they didn't make it to the end of their cycle because they were fighting with each other too much, and it made their planet inhospitable. How long ago did this transfer occur from Mars to Earth? 75,000 years ago. Does that mean that it's time to harvest? Does that mean we were ending a cycle? 75,000 years? But then Dawn don't ask about that. I want to know. Does that mean that there was the end of a cycle? Were there any entities in this form that I am now on the, what? Like 2 arms, 2 legs on this planet before the transfer occurred. So Dawn's asking if there was any human-like people on Earth before the people from Mars came. There had been visitors to your spirit various times for the last 4 million years. These visitors do not affect the cycling of the planetary sphere. It was not third density in its environment until the time previously mentioned. So it sounds like the creation of this new race through the Guardians, this was really going to mess up some people. this creation of a new race on Earth so that the people's spirits from Mars had somewhere to go is what started the very first cycle on Earth. But beings from wherever had been coming to Earth for 4 million years, but nobody stuck around to start a cycle. So that does mean that if the very first cycle started with these Martian creatures, these biologically engineered beings with Martian souls started 75,000 years ago, approximately, then that means that there was the end of one of the big cycles. It has to be, because it's every 75,000 years. I wonder if that's going to come up any in this book. I just put all of that together, and I just got chills. Okay, next. All right. Okay. There's a lot of things I didn't mark. Okay, so then there were secondary entities prior to 75,000 years ago. What were they like? They were higher plant life and animals. Did any of these second density beings have shapes like humans? 2 higher of the sub-vibrational levels of secondary beings had a configuration of the biped. However, the erect movement which you experienced was not totally affected in these beings, and they had a tendency to lean forward. So I'm thinking they're talking about apes, monkeys and apes. Where did these beings come from? Were they a product of evolution, as it's understood by our scientists? Yes. So all the apes and monkeys and stuff evolved here naturally. Do these beings then evolve from the second density to third density? This is correct. Although no guarantee can be made of the number of cycles it will take for an entity to learn the lessons of consciousness, of self. Oh, there we go. There it is. There it is. There it is. See, I've already read through this like 2 or 3 times. And I just found the answer to my question. So I was wondering about the mind, right? We're asking about the mind. Does the mind mean that you're self-aware? There we go. So in order to evolve from second density to third density, you have to be self-aware. This is correct. Although no guarantee can be made for the number of cycles it will take an entity to learn the lessons of consciousness of self, which are the prerequisite for the transition to third density. How did I not pick up on that originally? I guess I hadn't completely thought of what the word mind meant until I was reading it out loud just now. And I had already read all that information, so I knew that it was there. So my unconscious mind was probably like, you already know the answer to this question. And it just didn't click until just now. So in order for a being to evolve from second density to third density, they have to be self-aware. But there's no number of cycles. It just is however long it takes. Wow. So I wonder if that means, okay, because a lot of this stuff has been a little bit, let's not beat around the bush. A lot of this stuff's really confusing. So, okay, so this is what I was just thinking. So if, okay, hold on. My brain is processing. Oh, this is so profound. Okay. Everything in the whole universe has a spark from the original source, the infinite creator, right? Everything. Because in order for it to exist, everything is part of the original thought, the first thought. And everything that's created is being created. Oh God, this is so complicated. Okay, as an example, a toaster didn't exist in the original thought. I'm getting somewhere with this toaster thing. Hold on. A toaster did not exist in the original thought. It took a long, long time for a human in a mind-body-spirit complex, who is also part of the original thought, to come up with the creation of a toaster. And even the toaster has to have a spark of the original thought in it, because it was created by something that was also created by the original thought. So the toaster has to have a little tiny bit of that creation in it, for whatever it means. And the toaster has a body, but it doesn't have a mind. And it's not going to be aware of its spirit. So the toaster has a body, and it has a little spark of the infinite intelligence because it's part of the original thought, but it doesn't have a mind. So it's never going to make the connection that it exists. It's not aware of itself. Toaster analogy. But a dog has a body, it has a mind, and it has the spirit. But how self-aware is a dog of itself? I don't know. And then if the dog is never aware of itself all the way fully, can it be aware of its own spirit? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows this answer? Where's my animal communicators at? How aware is an animal of itself and of its spirit? Because that seems to be the key to this whole ascending levels, is that you have to be aware of yourself, be aware of your own body, and that you have a self. And then I think the next part of that, so to go from a second density to a third density, you have to be aware of yourself. So there's a clear mind and body complex. But then in order to move to the third density, no, that's moving to the third density. So to move to the third density, you have to be aware of your mind. You have to be aware of yourself. So I wonder, where does fourth density mean that you're aware of your soul? Or does fourth density mean that you're aware of infinite intelligence? Let's go back and look at the definition. Fourth density, love and understanding. So maybe the awareness of the soul is part of the third density. Because the fourth density is when you move into a social memory complex. Anyway, I got real off topic here. But I felt like I had a real crazy epiphany about things that I needed to share there. And now we're clear on what the word mind means, that it means you're self-aware. And that's when you move up to the third density. Okay, Continuing onward. All right, Don's next question. Are there any particular races of people on our planet that are from a second density? And this is where stuff gets really super interesting and fun, I think. Even though in some ways, there's a little sadness to it. But if you thought us being from Mars, our souls coming from Mars first was interesting, wait till you hear this. There are no second density consciousness complexes here in your spirit this time. However, there are two races which use the second density form. One is the entities of the planetary sphere you call Maldek. Remember, Maldek is supposed to be the planet that existed between Mars and Jupiter that is now our asteroid belt because it blew up. And supposedly there was a race of people that lived there before it blew up. These entities are working their understanding complexes through a series of what you call karmic restitutions. They dwell within your deeper underground passageways and are known to you as Bigfoot. I was not aware that we would be delving into Bigfoot in this book. I love all kinds of stuff about Bigfoot. I really do. So stuff's about to get real crazy. Okay, put up your Team Weird emotes. We can't do that on YouTube, but yeah. So if you happen to be in Giant of the Frost very first Twitch stream of the Twin Flame tarot readings, which we did on July 14th. If you haven't, or if you're not aware, my husband, Giant of the Frost, he was streaming on Twitch before I ever was, just doing gaming. And then when I started streaming, he kind of stopped streaming. So he has decided to start streaming again, and we've started this Twin Flame readings because out of nowhere I had him on my stream one night to do, I'm getting really off topic here, just bear with me. I had him on my stream one night just to do a few tarot readings together, like a tag team tarot thing. And the very last one was somebody asked for a Twin Flame reading. So we ended up doing one card he did the card for the male, I did the card for the female, and it's turned into this whole thing. I won't go into all that information about it, but anyway, it's turned into its own thing now, and we've made a YouTube for it. Well, it's Giant of the Frost YouTube. So go find Giant of the Frost YouTube. I'll put the link in the description. We're doing Twin Flame readings on there for all the zodiac signs. And then when I'm recording this was last night. So on the 14th of July, Frosty and I did a live Twitch stream of Twin Flame readings, just like that. And in that stream, I mentioned this particular description, this particular information very vaguely because the topic of karmic things came up, and I was like, wait until you guys hear what comes up in these discussions about karma and karmic restitutions. And this is what I was talking about, which I think in the Twitch stream I said it was going to be discussion number 11, but this should be discussion number 10, so I said the wrong thing. So yeah, if you're interested in karma and or Bigfoot, this is for you. Holy crap. Okay, here we go. So let's review, because it bears repeating. The entities that lived on the planet Maldek chose to come to Earth and live in a second density body that we are familiar with as Bigfoot. Okay. The other race that is being offered a dwelling in this density by guardians who wish to give the mind-body-spirit complexes of those of who are in this density at this time appropriately engineered physical vehicles, that means bodies, as you would call these chemical complexes, in the event that there is what you call nuclear war. So the Guardians also made another genetically modified physical body that can withstand nuclear war, in case we lovely humans decide to blow each other up. And this, as you're about to find out, is another one of the Bigfoots. Okay. These are beings which exist as instinctual second density beings, which are being held in reserve to form what you would call a gene pool in case these body complexes are needed. These body complexes are greatly able to withstand the rigors of radiation. So the Guardians made them so that they can survive a nuclear war, so that there would be some bodies on Earth left to hold spirit so that we can continue evolving. These body complexes of the second race dwell in uninhabited deep forest. There are many in various places all over the surface of your planet. Are they Bigfoot type creatures? Yes, although we would not call these Bigfoot, as they are scarce and very able to escape detection. The first race is less able to be aware of proximity of your mind's body spirit complexes, but these beings are very able to escape due to their technological understanding before their incarnations here. These entities of the glowing eyes are those most familiar to your people. I have not heard of any Bigfoot type creatures that have glowing eyes. Does anybody know about glowing-eyed Bigfoots? I'm not familiar with that. I should have looked that up. Let's look it up right now. That's what Google's for. Google it. Okay. Bigfoot glowing eyes. Is this a thing? The very first search is the title of it says, please be advised that the eyes appear to glow. Let's read this. What is this? Okay, this is the Virginia pilot. What? Oh my God. Okay. It wants me to subscribe to this. I don't want to subscribe to it. Bigfoot-like sculpture. Oh, it's a sculpture. No. Glowing red-eyed Bigfoot sightings reported at night. No. This is all somebody's sculpture. In North Carolina, somebody in North Carolina got a red-eyed Bigfoot sculpture. That's like all that there is. It's just the whole page is that. Okay, this one might be one. Let's look at this. Over the years, hundreds of Bigfoot witnesses have reported seeing what is described as glowing eyes. The eyes most often glow with red, but not always. Green, amber, blue, and even a scintillating mismatch of colors have been reported. Some had suggested that Bigfoots actually create this light with their own eyes with some sort of bioluminescence in order to identify or communicate with others of their own species. I disagree. This is cliffbarackman.com. Okay. So there are reports that their eyes glow. Okay, so I did not know that there are reports that Bigfoot has glowing eyes. So it sounds like if you see a Bigfoot with glowing eyes, that is the second type of entity that's created by the Guardians. And they sounds like they have a pretty advanced spirit, but they're still in a second density body. But the first kind of Bigfoot are the ones that came from Maldek. Their spirits came from Maldek. And if you see a Bigfoot sitting there like chilling out while you're filming it, and it's like doesn't really care if you're there, because I've seen a lot of those videos recently, that's probably the first kind, because the second kind can get away from you much easier. But there's more. Wait, there's more. So there's two different types of Bigfoot? No, there's 3 different types of Bigfoot. The third is a thought form. So we have created our own Bigfoot with our thoughts. Because this idea of a Bigfoot, a Sasquatch, a Yeti, a wood booger, there's so many different names for them, this skunk ape. We've created Yeti, did I say Yeti? We've created so many. We've learned about, thought about, studied, looked for, talked about so many different types of these creatures that we have created them ourselves. So we have the Maldek ones that are second density bodies. Their spirits are from Maldek. They chose to come here for karmic reasons, which they're going to get more into. They're a little more easily detectable. The second type are ones that Guardians created in case we blow ourselves up. There's some bodies here so that spirits can come into them. They're they're not easily detected. They have glowing eyes. And the third one is ones we made up ourselves. Oh, wait a minute. Is that the end of the session? Oh, that's the end of the session. Uh-oh. Well, I guess you'll have to come back for the next discussion to find out more about the Maldek Bigfoot people and their karmic restitutions, because I thought it was in this session, but it isn't. So, cliffhanger. Cliffhanger. You're gonna have to come back for session 10, episode 11, to see what happens with the Maldek Bigfoots. Wow, what a ride this one was. Okay, so let's sum up what happened in this session, because it was a lot of different things. Talked more about exercises for Law of One, cycles, our spirits coming from Mars, the Guardians making the bodies, and then we went into Bigfoot. That was a crazy journey for this one. But so fun. It was so fun. So if you had fun on this one, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Comment. I want to know, what do you think about all this? Please discuss with us questions, comments, concerns. Feel free to throw some jokes in there about Bigfoot, whatever you feel like. Get in on this discussion that we're having with this crazy wild ride of a book. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Don't forget there are various discussions that precurse this one as we've gone over the sessions in this book. And there's going to be more, a lot more, because we're barely scratching the surface of this book. We haven't even made it a quarter of the way through yet. Oh, yay. Okay. Anyway, don't forget, I'm going to put the links for the Giant of the Frost stuff in the discussion, and go check them out. Subscribe to that. Come watch us on Twitch, and my Twitch too. My Twitch, Giant of the Frost Twitch. We're everywhere. We're everywhere doing all kinds of stuff. So thanks for your support, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.